What's going on, horror fans? Welcome back to Descent into Horror Hell. This is our third annual Halloween show, and these are always fun to do. I am Skidgore.
I am Ghoul.
The one, the only, and we are back for some more horror fun. This is also episode number 21, so it is old enough to drink officially.
Yeah.
So on that note...
Well, you know what that means.
Cheers, Ghoul.
Cheers to number 21, guys.
Happy Halloween, everyone.
Descent into Horror Hell. Let's bring it back, guys.
We shall be back.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 6, 6.
Hey guys, we are back again, like we said, for Halloween 2017. Hey, we've had some fun ones in the past, and this is going to be no different. We got a lot hooked up to because we are doing slashers.
One of our personal favorite
It took us a while to do this one, and you know, we're going to be going through later in the episode. We're going to do our recent watches, of course. We're going to be doing because Skids can't decide and get rid of one movie, we're going to do 21 each of our movies plus 5 that are our absolute top 5 in slasher films.
It could have been 50 too, because
yeah, there's way too many. I mean, this is like paranormal.
Slashers are just, man, God, one of my favorite genres of horror. I'm sure it's ghouls as well. So they're just a plethora of films.
As repetitive as it
good
is,
and bad, but the bad ones are kind of fun too.
Yeah, you know, and as much as it's like you see a slasher and stuff like that, and you think, well, it's just the same shit all the time.
Yep.
You never get sick of it. It's, you know, seeing somebody get their throat slashed or somebody getting, you know, rope tied behind their throat and choked out. It's all cool. So, with that being said, we are going to do recent watches for you like, you know, we always do. And this time we have an 80s homage to, well, of course, the late Umberto Lenzi, which we'll get to later. But let's start with this.
You can go first, school.
You betcha. Fear No Evil, and I believe this is 1980. This is at the Brink. This is
that's a good one.
This is a very good movie. I actually never seen up until recently, and I feel ashamed to say that. This movie was a lot better than I thought. It's basically this kid who's born as the Antichrist.
And his name's Andy.
Andy, yeah. And he kind of summons the undead, and you know, it's the creatures is really cool because it kind of does the beginning of the movies kind of. I can't remember if it's his dad or whatever, who they show him kind of getting tracked down by the Slayer, the guy who has that.
The old priest. Yeah, the old priest. Yeah.
And
Father Thomas, I believe his name is.
Yeah, and he goes along, and you know, he shows how he kills them by the tree and stuff, and really cool effects, a lot of practical stuff. The zombies themselves, you don't really see them till the end when Andrew resurrects them.
Yeah, it's a good payoff. Though.
Really cool soundtrack to this. It's got like Sex Pistols, Talking Heads. Really cool soundtrack. And I always remember the guy who looks like young Richard Ramirez.
Oh yeah, the crazy guy that's always blanding knives and guns in his girlfriend's face.
I made a comment about that. He reminded me of a young Richard Ramirez, and it was absolutely hilarious.
The only gripe I have about this movie is I could have done without the shower scene with all the guys.
The guys, the little tiny wieners, yeah. Yeah.
Fear no wiener.
Oh, shit. And aside from that, it's actually a really well-made movie. I think it does have some really cool scare effects to it. Good monsters, like I said, the zombies. The makeup was really cool. Kind of how it had like that children shouldn't play with dead things. Kind of that where you go to a lot of
they kind of look like
plots.
They had oatmeal on their faces.
But it's like how they come out of the cemetery. It's like you get one hand and then they shove over to another plot, and then they just jump around the cemetery and you're seeing all this stuff going on, and then you see him resurrect. It's so cool.
One scene I'd have to say in Fear No Evil that sticks out is definitely the Jesus on the cross. The reenactment of the crucifixion, where the blood just
actually starts
flowing, and then everyone's freaking out, and there's this huge stampede. And if you watch I don't know if you watched the behind the scenes shit, but when you watch it, they show how they filmed that, and it was It's remarkable how they did that in such a low budget.
See, and the thing is, you can't have
80s
stuff like
horror,
that.
man.
I think whenever you do a crucifixion scene, I think Passion of the Christ really was the last one where it was actually done in a way that's not, Bible basher friendly. And
that was some good shit, man.
So definitely, Fear No Evil 1980, guys, check this one out. I highly recommend it. Definitely.
That was a good one. All right. Well, as most of the horror fans out there, especially Italian horror fans, know, the great Umberto Lenzi of classics Cannibal Ferox, Man from Deep River, Spasmo, the list goes on. One of my personal favorite Umberto Lenzi films is called Nightmare City, also called City of the Walking Dead. I actually have an old beat-up VHS of that. But this is a really good infection film. Umberto Lenzi kind of caught in the whole Italian cannibal zombie, starting with Fulci and
Romero.
Yeah, Italian zombies,
ones,
because there's kind of riding on the bandwagon of that, because that was really selling in the 80s, especially zombies in Italy.
And cannibals and stuff.
Yeah.
Definitely was a huge thing, yeah.
Yeah, so Umberto Lenzi, he wanted to be original, and I really think he was with this film, because it's a good infection film. These aren't zombies, they look like zombies, but they're just infected people from this radiation.
Yeah,
isn't that how it always goes?
It's not the typical rising from the grave dead.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I think people were kind of disappointed, because the cover itself has, it looks like you're gonna get the Walking Dead, like the Romero Savini effect type zombies.
Yeah.
Totally different thing, and the whole news broadcast. Remember?
Oh man, yeah, when the plane lands and all of a sudden everyone just gets slaughtered.
Yep.
And this cool thing is the infected uses machetes and even uses guns at points and stuff. And
so it was a different
really,
take on
really cool movie, man. If you love gore, you love the red stuff, Umberto Lenzi, I mean, I'm sure you all know from Cannibal Ferox. Umberto Lenzi, I mean, the guy invented the cannibal genre with Man from Deep River.
Yep.
And that was a landmark film.
72?
It was 72, yeah. That was just a landmark film in that genre. And, he pulls no punches. He was a great director, made a lot of great films that both myself and Gould hopefully you guys love. So check out Nightmare City and check out
Fear No Evil, guys.
Those are our recent watches that we shall return.
We're coming back.
Begin!
Yeah!
What's going on, horror fans? Welcome back. As promised, we are going to do some slasher fun. And both myself and Ghoul, we absolutely love slashers. It's a great genre.
It's fun. It's blood, it's gore, it's kills, it's...
Madmen in masks, scantily clad women running out the front door. Or running upstairs when they should run out the front door,
Tripping over when they run.
And the killer always seems to be walking, but then
always catches up to somebody who's running.
Yeah.
Or they're running away from them, and miraculously, bam, there they are in front of them.
It's like Slasher 101, man. We love it. But yeah, let's get into this.
But before we start, I want to ask you, when you came up with your list and you were going through all your movies, I mean, you obviously differentiate between what a slasher is, what a serial killer film is, what a
giallo.
Yeah, I mean,
it was hard, man. It was really, really hard. And I tried staying away from franchises as well, even though I love all the, Nightmare on Elm Streets, Fridays, Halloweens. I tried to stay away from franchises, and it was really hard. It was a very hard list to compile. I just took slashers that mean a lot to me, personally, and that's kind of how I went. And it's cool because we don't, both myself and Ghoul, we didn't show each other's lists like usual.
Yep.
Which makes it fun because obviously there's going to be repeats in here. That's what makes it fun, though.
Yeah. You always know what's going to happen. I mean, we're going to have movies in here that, we've been doing this show. This is, again, 21 episodes. We've been doing this it's our third Halloween episode. It's like every episode we always talk about, we're going to cross movies. There's one movie that shows up in one countdown, one that shows off in another one. The shit happens. Yes, there's thousands of movies, but, we don't spotlight on one type of movie. We go in genres, and all these genres, as we know, cross paths. So if you see
Absolutely.
movies that we've talked about already, we'll still talk about them because they still deserve spotlight and they still kind of deserve in this genre itself. So without further ado,
Let's get it
let's
started.
start with the movies.
I will go first. Dropping our plastic Fisher-Price knives. Because we're such badasses, right?
Death.
I will start with Don't Go in the House. Now, this is a great movie about a mama's boy that likes to fillet hot women. He's got a serious mama issues, basically.
I was actually going to pick that movie. And
that's a good one, dude.
It's a great movie. I did not make my list, though.
This is a great fucking film, man.
Yes, it is.
It's,
Came close, though.
yeah, this is essential one. It's not a slasher per se, because it's more of like I said, this dude just with a flamethrower filleting people. But it falls in the slasher genre.
Yep.
And it's
Definitely.
rightfully so. It's one of my personal favorites. Dude, what you
Definitely.
got?
I have Tourist Trap, 1974. Of course, Chuck Connors, Gunsmoke. Or not Gunsmoke, but Rifleman. Yeah, they're all westerns. Everybody pretty much knows this. Full Moon, of course.
That's a good one.
Great company.
It's one of your favorite movies, isn't it?
I do like this
I think
movie.
that was on your list like 2 years ago, I think. That's
Oh,
the one with all
it's
the...
either that or it's like we did our top 50 favorite films of all time.
Yeah, it's true.
But yes, Tourist Trap 1974. Of course, these kids get kind of caught up in this bar. And, Chuck Connors is this. He makes these dolls and shit.
He's a demented freak.
Demented cowboy. But definitely check that one out.
Really good
Tourist
atmosphere in that film. Tourist Trap, amazing film. Here's some 80s goodness sleaze. 555 from the Mighty Massacre
Is that
video.
88?
Yes,
It's
88
yeah.
from Massacre Video. This movie, this might be the only slasher movie where a dude in a flannel shirt with a big machete's going around killing people. And there's a suspect that's a colonel. There's two twisted cops. There's one that's like actually serious about his work, and then there's one that's just kind of plain dumb. And they kind of play off of each other. It's just fun movie, man.
It's a good movie.
Incredibly gory, as you can see from the cover.
I always love that's an infamous.
The cover just always
It's an
like
infamous
screams
cover,
at you.
yeah.
Like when Massacre Video put this out, and I just saw that cover.
They had to
It's
have
like,
it.
God,
It's such a
essential for slasher fans. 555. Go, what you got?
All right, I got one in more independent film, Chainsaw Sally. This is April Burl. She also with the late Gunnar Hansen, rest in peace. He also played in this movie. It's about a chainsaw wielding psycho bitch,
Pretty much.
basically.
Pretty much.
It's a lower budget film. Shakorama. They re-released some of the older movies, some kind of more released. I think this is 2004
That was a
or
fun.
2007.
That was a real fun.
But Gunnar Hansen
and Herschel Gordon-Lewis.
Herschel Gordon. Yes, that's
He
right.
plays what was it? I think he plays like a store owner or something, and there's just like this scene where April or Chainsaw Sally character and Gordon Lightfoot. Herschel. I have another one. Skid Gordon. Herschel Gordon Lewis are having like this little thing like, so how's business? And Herschel's like, well, I can't complain, and if I could, who would listen?
Yeah. So
was
definitely Chainsaw Sally. That's another one to add to your slasher list. If you haven't seen it yet, definitely check it out.
That's a good one. I'm just crazy about this store.
Oh, good old Bruce. Very young Bruce Campbell in that
Yes, he plays a cop, and he's only in it for like a couple seconds, and he gets top bill.
He's an asshole because he frisks them and he doesn't even ask questions first.
This is the only movie where you can see Sam and Ted Raimi both on a meat hook. Intruder is great, man. Like, how many slashers take place in a store? A store. What about Sean Connery now? A store. I mean, it's just amazing. The kills are great. This is one of those movies that you would see. I mean, some of the older fans out there might remember a magazine called Gore Zone. You could only see like pictures in Gore Zone because this was so. I mean, this was hard to find. This is actually a bad version too. There's a better version.
I always remember the coolest scene.
But it's cool to have.
The cool scene for that I always thought was when she's hiding out in that little display at the end, in that little house or whatever, and they always think it's like one person. It's kind of a cool twist mystery kind of thing too. It's kind of like you don't know who really did it because they always blame it on that asshole ex-boyfriend of that cashier.
Who actually is Greg Nectaro,
Yep.
who went on to be in K&B Effects, which is
Yep.
awesome. Like,
Yep.
he's the twisted boyfriend.
Yeah.
He talks about that all the time.
So it's like, it's got a kind of a mystery kind of clue kind of twist to it.
Scott Spiegel.
But definitely.
Intruder, check it out. If you've never seen it, check it out. Awesome. You'll never look at grocery shopping the same way again.
Hell no.
Clean up on aisle 4!
All right, we are going for Massacre, Sorority House Massacre.
Ooh.
This is a doozy.
It's a good Halloween ripoff.
Pretty much, yeah.
Psycho fucking escapes and goes after
Some sorority girls.
Pretty much.
How
he jumped the fence, I don't know, but
A lot of these kind of movies were always a lot of fun, though. I mean, these 80s,
yeah.
like, sorority house. I mean, you get all these, like, that was like
Slumber
the
Party
thing.
Massacre, stuff like that.
It was like the thing, where you got the killer inside of a sorority house. Like, everybody loved it in the 80s because that's where you got to see,
Final Exam is another one, yeah.
But you get chicks in, like, little night skirts and see tits everywhere. I mean, who would not love
House
a
on
movie
Sorority
like that?
Row. I mean, the list goes on. That's a good one. I like Sorority House Massacre 2 as well.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yep. But yeah, definitely check out any like sorority house or any massacre type videos. Usually, you're pretty much guaranteed a slasher kill. So
We have a little modern one here. One of myself
Marcus
and
Cook.
Ghoul's favorites.
ooh, yeah,
Little 100 Tears for Y'all. We talk about this religiously in many episodes, and rightfully
Yep.
so. Man, gore galore. Like, I mean, you can see this dude just wielding this huge ass hatchet, man. It's absolutely huge. Oh, we have the plastic version of it, yeah.
think about it. It's about that big.
Gertie the Clown, man. Like, this guy is, he's an amazing presence when he's on
He's
screen.
a big guy.
Yeah, he is. And
It's kind of like Kane Hodder, or being in a. When you see him, it's just like so imposing. But
yeah, he really sells it as Gertie the Clown. Marcus Cook, we talk about him religiously.
special effects great, of course.
Absolutely amazing effects artist. The Tom Savini of our era. I've said that many times.
Yep.
A very nice guy as well. Very well done. Very just a fun movie. I mean, I love that scene when he kills the retarded. Or no,
Ooh.
not a retard.
The handicapped guy.
The handicapped guy in the chair.
Decapitates him when he rolls down the
Yeah,
stairs.
and then there's
We've
another
had that as a
scene.
kill. We've had
Yeah,
that
and
as
then
a
there's
kill.
another scene where he eviscerates his chick and splits her down the middle, and her shit just flies her out.
It is definitely one of those like real modern day slashers,
Yeah.
and it's stuff that you don't really see because a lot of the
Done
slashers
well.
we talk about where they're more 70s, 80s kind of vibe, but this one was really taken into the next level of Millennium.
100 Tears.
So
Either
100
recommend.
Films, check it out. You can get that at the website as well. So definitely go there, Unearthed Films.
Hail.
So,
What you got?
all right. Now we're moving on to an 80s throwback. It's kind of a comedy slasher. It's called The Final Girls.
I have that, but I never watched it.
It's actually not a bad movie. It's
I know it's PG-13.
Yes,
yeah,
it is PG-13. But it's still kind of... It is a cool throwback kind of movie. Back to the 80s, and apparently somebody's getting murdered downstairs. But,
It has nothing to do with it.
these kids are attending this film called Camp Bloodbath. Not Camp Out, but Camp Bloodbath, and it kind of turns into reality for them in a sense. And it's got a cool kind of a killer in it, with this kind of... It looks like a welding kind of mask, and he runs around with a machete. So it's your typical kind of like
I'll check it
throwback,
out.
but it is kind of funny. It's got a lot of one-liners. It is your teeny bopper kind of movie as well.
I've had that movie on the shelf for a long time, and I've just been putting it off. I'll have to check it out.
It's a good time.
Thank
though,
you,
so,
Google. I'll check that one out.
Final Girls.
Oh, boy. I think I'll wait for that one. This is a classic Canadian slasher. Happy birthday to me. Oh, my God.
Oh yeah,
This is essential slasher right here.
I love that cover.
Amazing.
It's got
The shish kebab scene, yeah. Very, very iconic.
Oh yeah.
Melissa Sue Anderson of Little House on the Prairie fame wanted to do something with more meat in it. She was sick of the
Literally.
goody two-shoe rolls, and she really wanted to do something, get her hands dirty. In this movie, you could just tell she was having a lot of fun. Hard to believe they got a legend like Glenn Ford to do a cameo in a slasher movie. That was almost unheard of
Yeah.
back then, man, but it happened. And
Hey, money talks.
and he really sells it as her doctor that tries to, take care of her. And there's a really good relationship between the two. You can tell they care about each other. And then when shit goes down, man, you kind of feel for the characters. This is kind of a slasher film where you actually care about the character, good characterization, which is, I think, essential for slashers. I mean, yeah, you like seeing people die, but when you care about them and then they die, it kind of
makes it a little bit
more real.
Yeah.
You know?
Or
And
even
I
like
think-
the character, even the killers themselves, like when you actually start getting an attachment to them, kind of like being a fan of them almost.
Yeah.
Like you want, or that one bitch that you want to die in the movie because she's so damn annoying.
Yeah. Happy birthday to me, guys. Check it out. Excellent 80s horror film.
Hey, give it another 2 weeks, it'll be happy birthday to me.
Oh, Ghoul's birthday's coming up. I'll have to smear cake in his face next time.
All right. Troma's Great Blood Junkie.
Oh, I love that movie, man.
This is a real throwback to 80s.
We watched that for the first time together. Remember that? That was an awesome movie.
This is kind of one of those, like, it screams 80s with the artwork, and you even like look at the backs. Like usually when you look back at movies, you can kind of see pictures and you kind of go, it looks cool, but it might not necessarily be as cool. But this one definitely delivered.
Absolutely delivered. Good gore groceries.
This is one of those Troma films.
Really good story.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the Troma films that kind of stepped it up in the gore level for sure.
Excellent movie. Excellent 80s throwback.
Yeah.
Great movie. We have Nightmare. Now, this is one of my favorite slashes of all time, and this almost made my top 5. It came very close. It was very hard to put this away, man, because I love this movie. Great atmosphere. We had a couple kills.
That's two atmospheres, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I like the word, I guess. The little kid, chops the shit out of his father and the lover.
In bed.
Oh, man. There's just blood everywhere. There's heads flying.
Yeah.
Oh, what can you just not love about this movie? Really good killer in it, too. He's got a really cool, iconic mask. Kind of looks a little bit like Sid Haig a bit. I just kind of realized that. Yeah, Code Red Nightmare. Check it out. Oh, by the way, Tom Savini is known for doing the gore in this movie, but he was just a supervisor, so he didn't do it. So there was a little controversy there. Just a little trivia for y'all. But great gore, great movie, Nightmare.
All right. Here's kind of an oddball one. Horror Hospital, 1973.
Michael Goth.
Yep, this movie was. It's considered a slasher in the sense that it's these people that go to this insane asylum of sorts, and
quite an insane asylum too, I might add.
hell yeah, and it's basically like this English countryman, like he drives around in this rich like. I'll call you a Bentley or something like that. He drives around and he basically, this knife shoots out the side of the car and he slices people's heads off and it falls in a basket.
That's cool.
And it's a cool concept for a movie. It's got some comedy. It's from the UK.
Yep, starring the great Michael Goth of Hammer fame.
Yep. So, I mean, it's definitely got a lot of, your UK stars back in, you said the Hammer films and stuff. So, Dark Sky, of course, they never go wrong, I think, in any of their movies. So, definitely check out 1973's Horror Hospital. It's a pretty good slasher. Got a lot of weird, crazy people, too. So, that works.
Then a little modern one from Adam Albrandt, as we love him on Descent into Hell, all his films. This is one of my personal favorites of him, Crossbear. Really good slasher, religious nut going around with a hammer.
Yep.
And
kills these kids in this big, huge old hotel
big warehouse
something.
or something. Yeah, it was really good setting. You like that? It's that setting, not atmosphere. Really good setting.
But you just said it now.
Yeah, man, Adam Albrandt's really making some great films, man.
Hunters.
Burnhouse.
The Cemetery.
Yeah, which we talk about religiously.
He's kind of been in hiatus as of late, but hope everything kind of works out for him and he comes back to filmmaking because he's definitely one of those kind of lost breeds that, there's a lot of things about his movies,
man. He's
and the thing that I find bullshit about people that say about his movies, that they bring his personal life and shit that he was kind of dealing with, and I disagree with that wholeheartedly because, just because somebody has a personal life, man, don't bring it into what they fucking make.
It's all about art. It's all about making.
We love the movies, so definitely, man, keep them up and hope to see more shit from you soon.
Support the underground. Crossbear.
Get that Massacre video, by the way.
Yes.
All right, guys, we're gonna go to our first.
No, this is toe tag actually. That one's toe tag.
But you could get the
Oh, can you get on
video.
Massacre too?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well,
Yeah,
we were both right.
they had the sign. They had the sign deal, but they also had the VHSs at one time at Massacre Video. But check eBay because those are all sold out, obviously. But we're gonna go to our first kill scene, guys. So make sure you check back with us. We're gonna move on. So we're gonna go throw back to something pretty cool, I'm sure. So cheers.
Wasn't that lovely? Some Umberto Lenzi goodness for you. Go, what you got?
All right. Well, we're moving on. You know, everybody knows about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and things like that, but we're moving on to Junior.
Oh, that movie sucks.
Yes, it does.
But
Yes, it does.
But it's enjoyable, man.
But it's a slasher.
That old lady
Chris,
cracks
his
me up
mom.
in that movie. Yeah, she's like watching. I'm cracking up just thinking about it.
But yeah, don't piss off Junior.
Don't piss
Because he don't
off.
like it.
What's the tagline on that, though? I think that's the cool
Um,
tagline. It's like,
First you saw the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, then you met Freddy and Nightmare on Elm Street, now meet Junior.
yeah.
And then there's Junior doesn't like it when you get him mad. He doesn't like it at all. You know, if
I don't even think that's on DVD yet.
just look at Junior, okay? Just pick it up. You'll
That's
enjoy it.
it's fun though. I mean, if you
enjoy
want to
it.
hang out and have fun with your buddies and laugh
Have
and
a beer or
criticize
two.
a movie, it's fun.
Watch
I mean,
Junior.
it's a good movie.
But it's a good slasher in a sense. Of sorts. I mean, you sell a movie when you have a tagline and you compare Nightmare on Elm Street and Texas Chainsaw Massacre because people obviously would buy it if they were fans of those movies.
Now
so.
this is a good tagline too. When the lights go out, the terror begins.
Ooh.
Alone in the dark. Now, just Martin Landau, rest in peace.
Yep.
Jack Palance,
Talents.
rest in peace, and Donald Pleasance, rest in peace.
peace.
Everyone in this movie is dead.
Yeah.
But this is a great movie, one of the greatest casts for a slasher movie. I mean, I just talked about Glenn Ford and
Yep.
my bloody, my
My
bloody birthday, whatever.
birthday to me.
Happy birthday to me. But this is a really good lineup.
Oh hell yeah! It's an all-star cast there.
Yeah, it really is. I really can't say any more about it. It's just amazing film, really good music. Chop up your mother! Everyone that's seen this knows what I'm doing. Excellent movie, Alone in the Dark. I don't like this cover though. I like the VHS cover with the axe. That was fucking cool.
All right, we are moving on to Synapse Films' release of Fatal Frames.
I have never seen that fucking movie. I'm
never
sorry.
seen this one.
I've never seen it. What year is it?
This would have been 96.
I've never even heard of Fatal Frames. Wow, that's a new one on me. See, this is fun. We learn shit.
Basically, it's this kind of this
Not
cast
too
of
new.
people that go to this New York studio, and he's trying to do this music video, and there's kind of this murderer that arises out of and starts killing off the people in the theater and stuff like that. It's
Ooh, well, that's not going to be good, is it? Sounds like fun.
but Donald Pleasance is in it.
Oh shit! Now I gotta see it.
So it's back to back.
If Donnie Pleasance
Angus
is in it,
Scrimm is in it,
okay. Well, now I gotta see even more.
mind you.
What is it called?
Leanna Quigley is in this.
What is it called?
Fatal Frames.
Fatal Frames.
And David Warbeck.
Wow, from Beyond Fam.
Yeah.
I definitely have to see that movie.
Yeah.
Now.
So
Thank
you're
you, Bill.
talking Donald Pleasance, Leanna Quigley, Angus Scrimm, and David Warbeck. So
That's a hell of a cast right there.
Fatal Frames from 1996. It's definitely a really cool slasher film. It's got a lot of cool gore, kill scenes in it. Definitely check that one out. And I know Skid Gore over here will check that one out now.
Good your ass. Oh man, one of my favorite all-time modern slashers.
Gutterballs.
Gutterballs. Ryan Nicholson, Gutterballs.
From Collar.
Amazing.
Well.
Flav Feed.
Mm-hmm.
Hanger.
Amazing.
Bleeding Lady. The list goes on. This
Yeah.
guy makes. He even made a one called Torch that Necrophagia used for one of their videos. That was fun, cool.
And he also did number 2 for this one, which I have not
Yeah,
seen.
which I have
one
not seen yet,
No.
which I can't wait. I hope. We're both myself and Ghoul are glad to hear Ryan's doing better now as well.
Which, by the way, here's a little trivia for you.
Right.
Now, if you know anything about Gutterballs, do you ever remember what image they used from what movie? Like their promo poster?
Maniac.
Nope. Well, they did, but there's also another one.
I don't know if I ever saw the other one. All I know is there was the Maniac parody one.
They also did a promo poster from Happy Birthday to Me, where instead if it's a skewer, it's a bowling pin.
No, I have not seen that.
Yes,
I only saw the Maniac one, and I thought the Maniac one was fucking
And they did one with Happy Birthday to Me with the bowling pin instead of the skewer, so...
check that out.
Yeah.
Gutterballs, guys, check it out. BBK is an awesome killer, really iconic. He's got that awesome mask. Really good kills. Death by 69. The bowling cleaning scene where he takes his head.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
Death in a bowling alley. Like, there's so many death traps you think in there that it's like...
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it kind of makes you want to go bowling. Awesome movie.
Actually, I do want to go bowling.
I would.
Alright. Now, this one I kind of was up in the air about. It's a movie called Black Fly. Fairly recent movie. I think this is like 2016, so last year. And the reason this was kind of a mixture because there was kind of there was a serial killer aspect to it, but at the same time, it was not a serial killer film. It's a really cool independent film. I don't know anybody in this movie. But basically this kid brother goes to live with his older brother, and he ends up finding out his older brother basically kills people in his back shed and hatchets them and murders them and chops them up into bits.
Nice brother.
And then the younger brother kind of, grows a set and takes him on, and it's kind of...
kind of sounds like Found. A bit like
Kind of,
Found.
yeah.
Except not as good, probably.
It's pretty cool though. I mean, it's
what's it called? Black Fly.
Black Fly.
I got 2 movies of ghouls I have to check out.
So it's definitely it's a newer film. Like I said, 2016. You can get this, I think, at Family Video. So definitely check that out. It's a really cool. It's got a cool serial killer kind of like family stuff. Really good acting in the movie. So
right on. I'll check it out.
Definitely.
Oh, great 80s goodness here with Madman Mars, iconic killer in the woods.
I know you wanted
story.
that poster, didn't you?
I did, yeah, and I think I lost a bid on it or something. It was an original Madman poster. Oh my god, I would have killed for that fucker.
That image of him.
Ghoul has the original Pieces poster.
Yes,
the
original.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that later, obviously.
I really wanted, like that, I really wanted a Madman one. That would be awesome. God knows where the fuck I would have put it, but I would have found a way. Anyway, Madman's a great movie. There's so many great scenes in this. Kind of creepy, really. I mean, Madman Mars kind of comes out of nowhere. I mean, he's kind of supernatural in a way, because he just kind of appears. He's kind of like Jason, where he appears everywhere. He's kind of everywhere, But yeah, man, Madman is great. Anybody who knows the death metal band Mortician, they did homage to Madman Mars. It's fucking cool. Check it out.
I think Mortician did an homage to just about everybody.
Yeah, pretty much. Madman, check it out. Go what you got. I love Madman. God damn. I want to watch that tonight.
All right, we are moving on to 1980. The fuck is this? 80.
Is that the one that
Blood Sisters?
Oh, yeah.
Where the house basically kind of is a serial killer in a sense. The Blood Sisters. I know Joe Bob Briggs did the intro to this. Just hilarious.
Those are fun.
But I can't figure the name. I know it's the 80s, but it's Blood Sisters. This is basically where this group of sorority girls of course, moves into this kind of haunted house of sorts, but the haunted house is not really... It's kind of haunted by a realistic kind of slasher, where, he kind of comes up behind them all the time, and he's got the razor blades, he's got the knives, he kills them, so it's kind of like the house is alive, but yet the house is a person, so it's kind of got a cool twist to it, but,
I think that was directed by a chick, isn't it? Is that the same one that did...
Finlay.
Is that the one that did Tenement, I think?
Roberta Finlay?
I think she did Tenement, I believe.
So,
I might be wrong on that.
But yeah, it's definitely one of those movies, man. If it's in that sorority house kind of thing, but it's got a cool kind of twist, like I said. Still slasher.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. I can't think it's 80-something. 86.
Oh, one of my favorite moderns. The Collector. Now, this movie is... Oh, this movie is great. The killer is so... It kind of looks like he's... Sorry. You think after 21 episodes I would know how to do this already?
The glare!
This guy is gonna rob this house, because he needs money for his wife. I think she's sick or something. I believe.
Yep.
And it turns out that this wealthy family is being held captive by this Slipknot mask-looking motherfucker who's like putting traps all over the house, like Saw style. And it's a slasher. I mean, it's gory. There's no happy ending. I mean, this is an awesome movie, guys. Check out The Collector. I'm sure most people have seen it. It also had a sequel called The Collection, which is really good as well. A really good, iconic killer. I really like this. Awesome movie.
I like original killers in movies. It's always
that one definitely.
It's always nice to see.
That really was a surprise when I saw that movie.
All right. Moving on to 1987.
How the hell do you say that?
Cassandra.
Oh, okay. Looks like an Anthrax logo or something.
Cassandra. Basically, this is kind of it's a play on kind of like the Dead Zone from Stephen King, where, this girl, Cassandra, sees murders before they happen. And she actually kind of sees where... She's seen the murders of a serial killer slasher, I guess, and she sees all his kills. While during the movie, she actually kind of meets him eventually, and then it's kind of. I'm not going to give away the ending, nuts. But yeah, this is one of those movies that was really kind of cool. Like I said, if you ever seen the Dead Zone with Christopher Walken in it. It's kind of along those lines, kind of in a female protagonist angle. Good movie, though. Of course, great 80s vibe, if anybody loves the style of older films. I think it's on DVD, but don't quote me on that.
I remember that cover as a kid in the VHS store.
Yeah. The cover is definitely iconic, because we know with that eye and whatever. So it's definitely one to check out if you can get it. I'm sure YouTube has it, because... There's piracy bastards out there.
YouTube has everything.
Yeah.
Michelle Sovey, Stage Fright.
Great movie.
Excellent movie, probably the only movie you'll ever see where the killer wears an owl mask, goes around killing people in very creative ways.
It is creepy, though.
It is a creepy movie, absolutely.
Yes.
I find owls creepy for some reason. I don't know why, but
so cute though.
Shut up, ghoul. But the fucking mask is awesome. The fucking mask is awesome. Great movie, Stage Fright. Check it out. You're such a dick.
Thank you. All right, we're gonna go to another kill scene here. We'll come back because we want to give you the utmost amount of movies / kills because, like we said, as slashers, there's so many of them. So. Let's go kill something, guys. Hey guys, welcome back. Of course, we are on to our next segment of slashers. Kind of down the home stretch here. I think we're about halfway, a little bit more.
Hope it's not too painful, but I hope you guys are having fun.
You guys got to be knowing some pretty damn good movies here, so...
And it's Halloween, and we're sorry this guy doesn't light, but it looks like...
oh, he does. It's just...
he kind of lights too much.
Right. So, let's move on here. From Drew Rosas and Nick Sommer, Billy Club.
Oh!
This was a cool movie, man.
Fucking A, that was a great one.
Guy dressed up in like catcher's uniform.
And before you go, Ghoul, I just want to say that movie is the only slasher movie that takes place, the setting, in Two Rivers, Wisconsin, which is my hometown, which is right down the fucking road. Yeah. So you can imagine when I first watched this movie and I saw that, I'm like,
Two Rivers.
Oh my god! And it looks nothing like Two Rivers.
No.
Actually, it's better than Two Rivers.
Yeah, right? No, this was always kind of a cool one, though. Kids go out on a trip, of course. And, of course, Billy shows up.
Revenge for the baseball.
And the baseball bat reminded me of... because it had the nails sticking through it and stuff. It always reminded me of, like, the barbed wire bats of WWF. Like, it was always so kind of cool. But definitely, this is a newer age one. Again, like we said, there are newer ones that we are going to talk about, and this is definitely one of them. Check them out. Billy Club from 2014.
Really creative kills in that movie, too.
Hell yes.
Oh, well, 'tis the season. Almost a couple months yet.
It's
But
another one I was gonna pick, but
we got Silent Night, Deadly Night, and I'm gonna cheat and put 2 under 2 as well because that one just kicks ass. God damn it! Garbage Day.
Garbage Day. Yep.
Original Silent Night, Deadly Night. Oh man, this pissed off so many fucking mothers.
Yeah.
I mean, y'all know the story. Have you ever seen that slasher documentary called Fall of Slasher? That's a great documentary. Shows the whole story on this controversy. You know, the whole Santa Claus killer.
Oh yeah, that they were so pissed
Kids
because of
were
what kids were
traumatized, man.
Santa Claus is a killer that comes down and hatchets your fucking family.
Yeah.
All right.
And I'll never forget the first time I saw this movie. It was one of those big fucking VHS boxes. I actually have it at home. I cherish that photo. Anyway, my first time I watched it, and I saw the rape scene in the beginning where the Santa Claus rapes or kills the father and then rapes the mother and then kills her. That was some heavy shit. That was some really heavy shit. Like, you almost feel like you're the little kid watching it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was really hard. It was actually really hard to watch. But it's really cool how you see this transformation where this guy becomes what he fears, you know, and it's a really good psychological, you know, type story as well as a slasher.
Of course, his grandpa. If you see Santa Claus tonight, boy, you better run.
It's the scariest damn night of the year.
You better run for your life. Of course, Leanna Quigley's also in this one.
She's got to be naked, right? Of course, you know.
Yep.
Deer antlers through the teeth.
Yep. It was a very small role, but yes, she was in this movie. Scream Queen, great.
Yes, we both love this film, and the second one.
And of course, you also know that they also did make like 5 other ones, but those are just kind of
they're fun. They're fun. They're
Toy Maker and Visitation.
They're fun. That's pretty much all. But check out the original and the second.
All right, now we're going to the 19th century. No, we're going to like the 21st century with Chopping Mall. Of course, the robots from a power outage that kind of like sends them all into a cyborg slashing of sorts.
I prefer the title Killbots.
Killbots, yeah. So,
but Chopping Mall's cool.
Chopping Mall, of course, you get taken over by robots. And you got to think like this is what 86.
That's a fun one.
So yeah, and you know.
Thank you.
There was a lot of questions. Somebody was actually posting this a while back and asked if the people consider this a horror film, and how the hell do you not? Like,
of course, man.
Like how? Yes, it is.
Killbots in a mall going around killing people
because of a shortage, which is actually this actually is relevant to today because of the robots and shit that people are making, where the robots themselves are actually growing smarter by just watching people. Very scary shit.
Great movie. I love the cover too, man. That cover's great.
Oh, that was the original. That was the coolest cover. Like, I always thought it was the coolest thing until you saw the robot hand. Otherwise, you thought it was really just a slasher until you saw the robot hand. It intrigued you to think it's not just your normal.
I remember it by its original title, Killbots. I always thought that was really awesome as well. I love that movie.
It reminds me of something on like TNT, like
Thank you. Oh, Lucio Fulci goodness, in 82.
Ooh, yes.
Sleazy New York movie.
New York.
The New York Ripper. New York Ripper is one of the greatest fucking slashers ever.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Stop it, Peter Steele.
Whoa. But it's great, man. It is really a brutal movie. I think I've said in a past episode where women's groups thought Fulci was racist and a hater of women, and honestly, you can kind of see how they would get that because there's a nipple being sliced in a bed, and there's a chick that gets halved in a fucking on a boat in her car. I mean, there's some really, really brutal kills in this movie.
Yeah.
And when you find out who the killer is at the end with that fucking duck voice, oh my god, it really. I can't do it. But yeah, it's really a great movie. A great slasher. One of my favorite Lucio Fulci films.
Yeah, and a lot of people like Fulci and his Zombies and Beyond and stuff like that. Like it was such a branch off from something he was doing, and but it definitely worked out because he's such a great filmographer and just director in general that he can make a movie that's.
I mean, he did all sorts of movies, and he did Lizard in a Woman's Skin and Don't Torture a Duckling.
Yeah.
And then he did the whole zombie stuff, but he was really good at. He really did a good slasher, man. Excellent.
Oh yeah.
This almost made my top 5 as well. was very hard.
I'm going for probably the stupidest movie on this countdown. The Friday the 13th ripoff, Bloody Murder. Still not as bad as number 2.
I like number 2 better than 1.
Really?
Trevor Morehouse.
This was like taking off.
I fucking hated that movie, but the second one I actually didn't mind. I really didn't, because the killer looked like Joey Jordison a bit.
This was, it's one of those movies, though, I put on this countdown because, yes, it is a slasher. It epitomizes pretty much the Friday the 13th genre.
It's a modern slasher.
Texas Chainsaw, like, it kind of combines the two. The killer obviously had the, the hockey mask.
Trevor Morehouse.
But, it's one of the movies, man, it's just, I just added it because it's like, hey, you need to know about Bloody Murder because it is a pretty decent series. It's not horrible, but don't act like you smelled a fart. Like,
anyway.
It's not that bad.
Like I said, I prefer the second film, really.
That's why I'm not talking about it.
Terry Quinn is the stepfather. Now, this is a good movie, man. You talk about psychological, type horror thrown in with a slasher mentality. I mean, Terry O'Quinn is such an amazing actor, and this, he does all sorts of roles, but this one really, I think, solidified him as far as I'm concerned. This is the first time I heard about him. It was in The Stepfather and Stepfather 2 when I was a kid, and of course he's in Walking Dead. Or no, not he's in
Walking Dead.
The Lost. I mean,
yeah.
He's in Lost, other shows and stuff. I was thinking of Michael Rooker and Walking Dead.
Mm.
Well, yeah, The Stepfather is great. I love his freak out scene in the basement where his daughter, comes on him having his little temper tantrum downstairs, and then all of a sudden, like, he shifts and he's like, "Hi, honey,"
Yeah, it's like a psychopathic
That is such a fucking awesome scene because you realize this guy does not have his marbles. Well, you realize he didn't have his marbles when he killed his family in the beginning, of course, but then he just marries into other families and kills them, and don't disappoint Daddy.
Nope.
Great movie. Stepfather.
All right, moving on to 2009, Murder Loves Killers 2. This is a great little film, man. This is like...
That's a fun one.
This was so cool to watch, like, the kill scene, like, the chick getting the knife right through the throat, just...
Yeah, I think it's on the back.
Yeah, it was always the best.
That was a fun one, pretty much.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, Murder Loves Killers 2, it's Stevie's party and everybody gets wasted. Literally. And physically.
I have another very underrated slasher, just like Murder Loves Killers 2, and it's called Psycho Holocaust.
Yeah.
This is a great movie. I talked about this before. This is filmed around Clintonville, Wisconsin, which is not that far from my cell phone goal.
Wisconsin loves to
so it's actually really cool
kill
seeing
people.
Something kind of be made in your own backyard, Really cool. There's a scene with a barbed wire going into a bare ass. Oh boy, that's nasty, man.
Yeah.
This killer is cool. It kind of looks like a bit like Town Jared Sundown or Friday the 13th Part 2 or something. That's really cool. Good movie. Check it out. Psycho Holocaust. Not talked about a lot.
All right, we're moving on to Living Hell.
Japanese Chainsaw.
The Japanese Chainsaw Massacre.
Awesome.
Gory fucking movie.
Very good.
It's got people from like The Grudge, Ju-on, kind of movies like that. Because obviously these Japanese actors, if they're in horror, they're pretty much doing horror. And this movie, I always remember the cover, just like scream like you gotta watch this if you're a gore.
I just got it for the cover.
It's got, I gotta say this right,
The intriguing
Yoshioto Honda from Battle Royale, the original. I can't pronounce half these Japanese names, so I'm not even going to try.
It is amusing to hear us try to pronounce other names.
Some names are horrible. But yeah, Living Hell, definitely check that one out. It lives up to the title of maybe a little bit more gorier. It's got the Japanese, Tokyo Gore Police kind of over-the-top gore in some parts. But definitely a hell of a lot of fun to watch.
Good shit. A little more modern one, too, as well, called Fender Bender. This is probably one of my favorite modern-day slashers. A very, very unique concept of what it says, a fender bender. This guy goes around and purposely hits cars, gets all the information, insurance information and the phone numbers and all that shit, and then goes after.
It's the perfect way to do it.
It is. It really scary, dude. Because this really could happen. There could be a psycho out there that would just want to fucking rear-end your ass.
Just to get your
really
information
bad,
where you
but
are.
rear-end your car, and then he finds your ass and he kills you and your family. It's really creepy. It's a really, really good. I'm gonna say it because atmosphere in this movie prevails, man. That house is so creepy. It kind of reminded me of one of my friend's house back when I was a kid. Really good kills. Not overly gory, but really good story. You really feel for the main character. I forget her name offhand, but she's a very good actress. And this is a really good movie. Excellent release from Scream Factory. Which most of the releases are.
Most of them.
But that cover is just killer, man. I'd totally wear a shirt or a patch of that if I could find it. Check out Fender Bender if you've never seen it.
Right on. We're moving on to another massacre, Slumber Party Massacre. Of course, this one, the second one, the third one was actually not bad. This was, of course, they just basically have...
driller killer action there.
Yeah, pretty much. Really not much to say about it. It's basically just a slasher from '82 about, a slumber party where these girls get invited by the basketball players. Well, you made 3 mistakes. It's kind of...
I like the killer in that movie. He just kind of looks normal. He wears a jean jacket and he just has...
It's kind of a greaser kind of...
Older guy type thing.
Definitely. Slumber Party Massacre from '82.
It's also directed by a woman who... that movie came out, what is it, 82?
82, yeah.
Yeah, 82 was a year, of the really...
Amy Jones.
Really good slasher movies, like, The Burning, My
Pieces.
Bloody Valentine, The Prowler, shit like that.
Pieces.
Yes, excellent movies like that. And, to the best of my knowledge, that's the first ever because slashers were kind of considered women haters, Siskel and Ebert... just hated slashers, and they did a huge campaign about it, especially the Friday the 13th series.
Yeah.
But a woman made that movie.
Amy Jones, yeah.
Yeah, and it's really cool. It really stands the test of time, man. I love Slumber Party Massacre.
See, I think a lot of the time where, they think they're women haters is because you got to think, man, in the 80s, yeah, you can watch a guy walking around with a bare chest, but you can see that when you walk out your backyard. You don't get to see tits very
Especially
often.
yours.
So yeah, I got some scary people in my backyard. But, people, the audience wanted to see, women's breasts. That was, you don't see that every day. So it's like,
hey,
let's
guys,
put it in a movie.
We like tits. Oh, yeah. Tits so. Gotta have titties!
Titties!
We both love Brutal Massacre. Great movie. Another modern one here, the Turnpike Killer from White Eye Releasing. This is a really good one as well. Kind of a maniac homage about just really psycho prostitute killer. Kills anyone, really. He's very select, he's very cold, calculating. And there's really a twist ending, which is really good. The actor, I think, is Bill McCullion. He sells it. He really does. He's kind of reminds me a bit of a Joe Spinell from Maniac, where you kind of try to get into his head, and
you do.
Yeah, it's really good. Good kills as well. Really good movie, The Turnpike Killer.
Nice.
Good modern slasher.
All right. Got Backslasher. Of course, Brain Damage had to make this title. Only because this was actually a pretty decent one. Brain Damage actually does come out with pretty decent movies once in a while. I'm trying to remember if there was anybody actually... I don't think there was really anybody worth... There's a shit ton of people, but...
Oh, Michael Myers is chasing Laurie Strode.
Basically, this guy wants to sell sex toys and lingerie on a site, and he gets all these names of women, and basically kind of stalks them down with their information. Kind of like Fender Bender, actually. It's got the same kind of, the same idea. Hey,
oh,
pay attention.
Halloween is on.
And, it's kind of like this supernatural psychopath kind of goes around. He starts killing all the women that he gets all their information from. So again, like Fender Bender, same kind of thing. But he gets them off a website rather than information. So
I'll have to check that one out.
Still kind of creepy,
I don't think I ever saw that movie.
But it's not bad.
Was it called
Backslasher?
Backsplasher?
Backsplasher.
Back Scratcher. How about a killer back scratcher, man? Now, this is kind of a unique slasher here.
Oh, yeah.
This is actually based on a true case in Texarkana, Arkansas. The town that dreaded sundown. Now, this is a classic. You know, I wouldn't say it's a slasher per se. It has slasher elements in it. It's got a tuba kill. That's fucking cool.
Yeah.
Really iconic killer. I mean,
It looks like
it looks
Friday
like
the 13th Part
yeah,
2.
and you can totally tell that Friday the 13th Part 2 took a lot. I think Steve Miner might have seen this movie, and when he made Friday 2, he probably said, "Hey, let's put a potato sack on Jason or a pillowcase or whatever."
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, it totally looks like Jason, man.
Yeah, it does.
When I saw this, I'm like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah.
You know, when I was young, I didn't know this came out in '76.
Yeah.
Obviously, Friday the 13th Part 2 is 82,
Yeah.
81. I mean, so. Yeah, this is a really good, iconic killer. Really good. It's based on a true story as well. Like I said, it actually did happen. It was remade, and I must say, the remake was okay. It did have some quality parts that I liked.
It was alright.
But it didn't live up to the original as most remakes didn't. But check out the original Town of Dreaded Sundown. It's a very creepy film too. Very, very creepy film. Like the Lover's Lane. Like when the lovers are in Lover's Lane in the car making out.
Oh,
Like,
nice.
he's stalking through the shadows, and he's hiding. Then they turn the light on because, the cliche part where the chick hears a noise.
Yep.
Honey, turn on
What
the
is
light.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he ducks, and all of a sudden he comes in and just smashes the window and just
Yeah.
fucks him in the ass with a knife. And yeah, I mean, it's awesome, man. Check out Town of Dread Sundown.
Oh, yeah.
Tuba Kill is one of the best. I got a feeling you might be seeing that later.
Alright, I'm moving on to Carlo Ponti's Torso.
Sergio Martino.
This movie is like, it's got that, like, the stalker in the woods, and again, it's a guy with a potato sack kind of on his head. It's almost like that
was not planned, by the way.
It's like a stocking cap with, like, pulled over and just eye holes cut out.
It's a really cool mask.
But basically, it's kind of like, this is one of those movies that if your parents found this in your drawer, you'd be sent to, like, military camp. Like, this is almost borderline porn. I mean,
Sergio Martino.
yeah, there are tits aplenty in this movie, and lesbianism, and
Brilliant.
yeah. But at the same time, the guy runs around with a hacksaw and cuts off limbs and all sorts of stuff, and it's
That's a cool cover, man.
yeah, it's
I
definitely.
got that yellow cover with that just says the hacksaw.
Yeah.
But I prefer that better. You can see whatever.
Well, this was a hard box that I actually bought from a guy when I bought Eraserhead.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's kind of funny because I can't watch this version. I just picked it because the cover was really better than the original, the one that I have. But this is definitely, check out Torso.
Torso's great, man.
If you can get it, it's pretty much like an X-rated Galio series. So
One of my personal favorite.
why is that sealed?
I don't know. I don't know.
Why is it sealed?
Number 895 out of 1,000. Yeah, I really cherish Headless,
Oh,
man. We
such a
talk
good
about
one.
this religiously.
Oh yeah, eating
Guy
eyeballs.
eating eyeballs, eyeball juice flying everywhere. Dave Parker getting his fucking number
Wiener
chopped
cut
off.
off. Yeah.
Great fun, man. This is a really gory movie. Shane
Oh, yeah.
Beasley is a great as a killer.
He had Found as well. They all worked kind of on the
Oh,
same
don't
movies.
even get me started on Found. I just
Yeah.
love Found.
They
to
kind of
death.
all work together, and
Yeah.
I mean, you can tell it's a series of movies that Marcus Cook worked on at some point, and
Absolutely. This is a great slasher. Excellent.
oh yeah, that's a modern day.
Yeah, this is a
masterpiece.
masterpiece, absolutely.
Well, we knew this was going to happen. Here's our first one, Crossbear. God damn it. Not going to say much about that movie. Just telling you, we did have one.
I couldn't even get a drink in, asshole.
Hey, that ain't my fault. All right, I'm going to go to Hell's Ground then. This is a Pakistani slasher.
Oh, is that the one where the dude's got
The guy's
big
walking
fucking-
around, swinging like big metal medieval balls. With
Horrible
spikes on
acting,
it.
but what do you expect from Afghanistan? But still,
It is.
that was a
but
really
it's actually
Pakistani. I mean.
Pakistani, but it's actually a really cool slasher film.
Yeah, it is. It's got some great.
It's got some like the voodoo kind of ritual kind of stuff in it, and you got the guy kind of running around with this bloody, like, it looks like a biohazard suit.
Yeah.
But it's got some cool gore in it. Yeah, like you said, the acting is pretty pretty terrible. But,
Yeah, it's got some really good gore groceries though.
But Hell's Ground from 2007, definitely check that one out. It's actually pretty good fun. It's not that bad.
I have the classic original Black Christmas. Now this is probably the first ever true slasher film.
Yeah. I'd say.
The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which we'll get into later on our Tobe tribute, really solidified the whole killer in a mask type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But this movie, he was one of the first that had like the killer's point of view, like that John Carpenter would eventually take for Halloween. And from '74, man,
Billy.
Billy's that's really cool because you never see Billy. You only see his hands. You only see his eyes at the door.
Crawling through the walls and stuff, and
it's actually a very creepy movie. I actually watched this movie last night at like 3:00 in the morning. I shit you not, I was actually creeped out because
what is it?
Because the shadows on the wall, like when she's talking to Lieutenant Fuller, John Saxon's character, and they're talking about it couldn't have been Billy or it couldn't have been Peta or whatever, and you see, Billy's silhouette coming down the stairs, and they don't see it. It's fucking creepy, man.
Yeah, it's like
Bob Clark, rest in peace, made great horror films. Death Dream, Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things, Deranged, stuff like that. Porkies. But really, The Black Christmas is really a classic movie, and since, Christmas is coming up, I definitely be rewatching
we'll talk about it, yeah.
Again.
Just remember, if you're not scared by that movie, your skin's on too tight.
Yeah, very true.
Alright, we're moving on to a pretty decent franchise, Chrome Skull. There's a good killer in this movie. This is the second one that laid to rest because I did think this was a little bit better. Robert Hall did this one. There's a bunch of people I don't know in this one. But this is I think was a little bit more bloodier. Thomas Decker from Nightmare on Elm Street's in this one.
Laid the rest series.
Danielle Harris, of course. But yeah, it was a cool concept killer. But it's basically a guy wielding this really brutal like military knife and stuff. And
he's got a really cool mask.
It's like all chrome and obviously Chrome Skull.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is actually I think gorier than the first one. The first one I think they just wanted to establish their character, but definitely Chrome Skull Laid to Rest 2. Definitely check that one out. If you guys like those movies, Chrome Skull I think was just good in general, but.
Well, I think we're gonna do some killing. What do you think, Ghoul?
Let's do it.
Let's watch. Going on, horror fans? Hope you guys are having fun. Now we are down to the nitty gritty. What I mean by that, we have the top 5 favorite slashers
in order.
So
this is gonna go.
And it was not an easy task, I must add.
5 being the worst, or not the worst, the best of the worst, I guess.
It's
and
hard to say.
Being number 1.
Yeah, so this is the creme de la creme as far as us as horror fans goes. Personal opinions. If you all don't like it, I don't give a shit. This is all our opinions. So, Ghoul, you want to do the honors? Ghoul's going to go first here.
Alright, my number 5 is going to be Adam Green's Hatchet.
Almost broke version.
Almost broke. I love this movie.
It's got
Victor Crowley. Such an iconic killer. Kane Hodder, obviously, as we all know, from Friday the 13th. And,
Victor Crowley, baby.
These movies are just... the kill scenes, it really brought back the essence of a slasher film.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, and none of them are bad. 1, 2, and 3 are all just equally as good as the next.
I think they're making another one called Crowley, I believe.
Yep.
Don't quote me on that, but that would be awesome.
But, no, this is definitely one of my favorite ones. Tony Todd, is in this one. He's also in the third one where the Voodoo Doctor.
The second one, I know that.
Second one, yeah. He's actually in all of them, but he does the whole Voodoo tour and stuff like that to Crowley's stomping grounds. But no, Hatchet, I think, reestablished the slasher genre in a different light, bringing back that that killer, that one main character. And
I would say Hatchet and Laid to Rest series are the the ones that really kept slashers kind of in the mainstream, but still were underground and brutal.
Yeah,
you know?
And these kills, man, are just
80s throwback.
Something else. So
see, Kane Hodder got fucked out of being Jason and Freddy versus Jason.
Yep.
So he pretty much said, "Fuck you, Hollywood. I'm
gonna
gonna do something even better."
And he did better in that movie. So definitely, Hatchet's my number 5.
That's a good one.
Skids, what's your 5?
5. Oh man. Yeah, Pieces. Yes. How can you not have Pieces? This could easily been my number 1. It's hard. It was very, very hard to do this. Pieces is yes. This is Ghoul's favorite film as well. I got a feeling you'll probably see it again.
Probably.
So I'll probably just put it down. But excellent movie, guys. Check out Pieces. You never seen Pieces? Come on.
Just remember, you don't have to go to Texas for a chainsaw massacre.
And it's exactly what you think it is.
Greatest B movie, I think, ever, as far as gore goes. I mean,
absolutely.
All right, I'm moving on
to great.
William Lustig, Maniac.
Oh.
You know,
this is gonna get ugly.
Yeah, this is just one of those movies where Joseph Spinell. Tom Savini obviously doing the effects in this one. I mean, what don't you know about Maniac already? You know, the whole scene where...
You're going to know more pretty soon.
You know, when he gets taken out by the dolls or whatever, it kind of like he gets a psychotic break.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Joe Spinell has that serial killer look to him, but it's still more than just a serial killer movie. It's
a good psychological study as well of a guy that hears voices in his head. And just doesn't want to be alone, mother issues, obviously, kind of like, it's great. I got a feeling you're going to hear more about it because, you know what? My next fucking movie is me.
Both number 4s, there you go. You don't plan that.
I was not playing. Nice one, Ghoul. Yeah, we always say sick minds think alike, but man, how can you not? Joe Spinell kills it.
Yeah.
Have you ever watched the bonus on here? Where they actually talk about the making of the film and when Joe dies.
Yep.
Like when they go to his house and they find that severed head from the film on the TV.
Yep.
And they think somebody killed him.
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking great.
Mm-hmm.
This is a great movie. William Lustig directed it. Just excellent film. Excellent in every way.
Yep.
Maniac. Hail.
Alright, I'm moving on to Jess Franco's Bloody Moon. Great slasher movie with the shears. It kind of reminds me of The Burning. Same kind of idea. This was kind of Jess Franco's like real approach at doing a slasher film in a sense. They asked him to kind of
pornos and cheap zombie movies.
And they said, what could you do as far as a slasher movie? Well, he takes the boobs, the guts, the gore, and he puts it all in there, including the infamous stone mill scene with the saw blade.
Which is on the cover.
That scene is just brutal when it cuts right through her face. It's just like, damn.
It's an iconic kill.
But it's got that Franco style to it. It's not your typical. It's all just slasher. I mean, it's all that, but it adds that atmosphere, and I can use that because it's my first time. But it's got that atmosphere.
I got a feeling there'll be a lot more atmosphere coming up here.
It's one of those movies that's got brutal kills in it, lots of blood, lots of red stuff.
That was a lot of fun, man.
So definitely Bloody Moon from 81. So we're very early 80s.
That's one that's fairly not talked about a lot. Definitely was a video nasty for its time as well. It was banned a long time.
Oh yeah.
Who released that?
Severin.
Yeah.
Put that
out. They just put out some good shit. In fact, they just released Kathy's Curse not long ago. That was amazing.
That's a good one. Because I have a shitty version of that.
Yeah, I think we both do.
Mine's so generically put on there, it's stupid. But what's your number 3?
My Bloody Valentine.
Woo!
Now this movie, I absolutely love this movie, and I'm so glad that they released it with all the uncut, good, gory glory.
Yeah.
Because this movie, this movie never would have made my top 5 list if I still would have had the edition I had before this one came out, because it was so cut.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't really the same movie. The kills were all cut. It just sucked. But this movie, the edited, the unedited, fuck you. You know what I mean? Buy the fucking movie, goddammit. Kicks ass. My Bloody fucking Valentine. If you never seen it, check it out. It's one of the best slashers from Canada.
And the remake was not as bad either.
The remake was okay as well. Tom Atkins is memorable in that one as well. But the original, you can't go wrong. Harry Warden. I'm not gonna say I don't want to give away the ending if no one ever seen this movie, but it's definitely a great film. A great kills, like dude miner with a pickaxe. So original. So original. I watch this every Valentine's Day.
You have to.
Yeah, that's
true.
true.
You don't have a girlfriend, so you might as well watch a movie on Valentine's.
Me and my spoiled cat watched this movie on Valentine's Day.
All right. I'm moving on to one I talked to on the last episode. I'm just going to bring it up, The Barn. This I consider, it's a creature feature, but it's also a slasher film with what these, the whole dance scene where they're just running through and amok, just slashing people up, and
Halloween atmosphere.
It's Halloween, and this is a Halloween episode, so this does count, but it is a slasher in my opinion, and it's got a lot of elements of it. It might not necessarily be like a one specific killer that goes around and murders people like Michael Myers or Freddy Krueger, but it's still got the slasher element when he's going hunting these kids down, and all the blood, the guts, the gore, the cool weapons they use. They have that sickle he runs around with.
I just remember the kid getting killed in the beginning.
Right in the beginning, goes open the door and
trick or treat.
So definitely The Barn. Check this one out. This was
Barn was fun.
2016, so this came out last year. It's a new age slasher creature feature, kind of a split. So
The Barn was fun.
You make your judgment.
The Prowler.
Ooh yeah.
I love this movie. The killer is so iconic. The Vietnam veteran with oh man, he's got a number of weapons. He's got a machete. He's got just a knife, and then he's got a pitchfork, and he uses that pitchfork for very bad intentions. Like when he gets that chick when she's in the shower with the pitchfork, that is some of Savini's most brutal shit.
Yes.
And Farley Ranger's hitting his head, blowing off at the end. That was amazing. Thomas Savini always has said that this film is some of his best work, and it's I guess I can't really argue with that. I mean, he's made some great gore moments, but The Prowler, I mean, directed by Joseph Zito, who went on to do Friday the 13th Final Chapter, which is probably one of the most brutal of the series, great film. This excellent film. Can't say any more about this movie. Check out The Prowler.
If you haven't yet, get enlightened.
Check out The Prowler. And I'm amazed this movie's never been remade, and I'm glad it hasn't. I hope it doesn't.
All right, and pause for 5 seconds because we are at the number one spot. We are at our number one all-time slasher films. So,
not an easy task to do, by the way.
Without further ado, now mine's kind of a letdown because Jackass over here took my absolute favorite. This is one of my favorite movies actually altogether. Not, as you can tell, I own the poster for it.
It's Pieces. Big, okay.
Yeah, big surprise.
Oh, you totally surprised me there, Ghoul.
Yeah.
I never knew you knew that movie.
I just love this movie. It's just...
The Fat Gardener. Come on, do the face for old times. You did it in one of those other ones. He's like... He's got that big black beard.
Yeah, I don't have to say much about this. If you haven't seen this movie, definitely check it out. 1982's Pieces. Linda George Day. Shit, I can't think of the name.
You mean Christopher George?
Christopher George Day. Linda
Day.
Linda Day. That's what I'm thinking.
And for old time's sakes, I'm just gonna go bastard, bastard, bastard. That bastard was murdering her. I'm so sorry.
But yeah, Pieces is my all-time number one favorite.
Give me my movie back.
It's a great... Well, I didn't find mine. I couldn't find mine.
Go ahead. I had to borrow. And then he bitches about me for picking it. All right, figured out on it.
But yeah, it's one of my all-time favorite movies. It's high on my list for all-time favorites. But slashers definitely it's number one. So
same here, man. It's just a great horror film all along, and like you said,
the ending is
Christopher George's performance. I mean, we're a big fan of Christopher George from City of the Living Dead.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's just great in everything he does, and Pieces is definitely a first-round knockout film. Which brings me to my first favorite.
Speaking of which,
that is The Burning. The Burning is my favorite slasher of all time. Hands down. Like, I love this movie so much. I'm so glad that this finally got the release it deserves.
Well, they had a good DVD release of it, but not with all the special features and shit.
The cover absolutely sucked, and I actually love this show. This cover. This is awesome. Really good release from Scream Factory. Craftsy, I think could have actually been the next Jason, or someone on the lines of that. And it's a shame they never made more Burning movies. But well, he dies in the first one, but it's just such an amazing film. I mean, if you've never seen The Burning or Pieces, I mean, those are two great number ones if you're a slasher fan. And it's been a slasher episode for Halloween 2017. I think this fucking ended really good with two of our favorites. The Burning. Oh, get mine up there.
Pieces.
Pieces.
There you guys go.
All right, now we're going to go fucking kill something because we can, goddamn.
And we'll come back. Tobe Hooper.
The saddest part.
So we'll try to make it as cheerful as possible because it's an homage. It's a tribute to him. But
absolutely.
Let's go kill some. We're gonna watch a little bit of Halloween 2. Have a drink or two, and we'll be back, guys. Cheers.
Well, at least you got the outside lights working. Nice makeup job. Stop fooling around, man.
Alright guys, welcome back. Of course, like we talked about before the break, Tobe Hooper was another one that we had lost. I know the last episode we talked about George Romero. It's man, it's hitting hard every day. We us horror fans wake up and it just never seems to end. It's somebody or
and it won't end.
It's just we talked about it from day one on this show. These people are not getting any younger. I mean, the people that, in our generation at least, we didn't grow up in their prime, and we grew up in their, watching their movies they made in their prime and stuff, and, now they're getting up there in age, and they're all just gonna, it's sad, man. Shit dies, but we always
have films to remember them by.
But here on Descent into Horror Hell, we always do an homage or a tribute to people that we've lost or...
We've been doing that since like 2 years, man.
Yeah. So we like to continue this obviously with Tobe Hooper. He was a big, huge impact on obviously slasher films, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, things like that. So we're gonna definitely talk about him, but we're not experts on on his life or whatever. He was 74 years old. Obviously, can remember that because that's when Texas Chainsaw Massacre came out. So easy to remember. But we still don't know how he passed away. It's you want to take it away? You have something to say, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, it's really sad when our horror heroes die, But, like I said, at least we have the films to remember them by, and of course that's what we're going to celebrate, the great films of this director, Tobe Hooper. So, let's hop right into it.
All right.
And I guess the most logical place to start is right at the beginning.
Well, his known beginning, like Eggshells and stuff.
Yeah, I made Eggshells. I've never seen Eggshells.
But we're talking like his actual movies that are known.
Horror films.
Yeah.
And this is definitely the benchmark of everything, really. This movie is just as important as Night of the Living Dead by George Romero, as far as horror culture goes. And,
yep.
Rip-offs, parodies, everything you name it comes from this movie. I mean, even Cheers did it. I mean, Gunnar Hansen was talking about that in a documentary, and Tobe Hooper really, he he was so young when he made this, and this is just his first like real feature, and I think he just knocked it out of the park. I mean, Bob Burns is his decorating of the farmhouse with all the animal body,
the real body parts,
the real bones and stuff. It's just phenomenal, and it's all real. I mean, it's all real.
Yeah.
He went out to a bone farm and got all that stuff and just brought it back. The armadillo in the beginning
is real.
They
actually found
taxidermied it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, they actually found it, and he dabbled in taxidermy, and they found roadkill, and he kind of pieced it together to be part of the film. But I remember they were actually looking for a deer or a dog or something like that.
They found a dead horse, but they didn't want to touch it because it was stinking too bad and there were maggots everywhere. Yeah. That would have been a great opening, though. But yeah, they were going to use...
It's all behind the scenes.
They were going to use a dog as well, that's right. But, yeah, man, I mean, what's really sad about this film is pretty much the whole cast is wiped out. I mean, Toby's gone now, Gunner's gone, Marilyn Burns, Bob Burns is gone, Paul Bartel's gone, Franklin, the guy that played Franklin. I mean, it's or Jim Saito. How the hell could I forget him? Yeah, Jim Saito, the cook.
Yep. I mean, there's nobody.
He's gone. I mean,
it's
just really sad because whenever you have a horror convention now, I mean, who's going to show up? Pam and Kirk. Pam and Kirk are the only ones that are alive.
Pretty much.
Oh, the guy that did Pam Kirk, and who the hell was Sally's boyfriend? I forget. I don't know. I remember. Anyway, yeah, Texas Chainsaw Massacre is where we'll start. Just iconic. Like I said, iconic. There's no other words to describe it. Iconic. We got Gunner hanging out here too.
All right, we're moving on to the remake Toolbox Murders. Of course, the original came on the
76.
76.
77.
The remake, of course, directed by Tobe Hooper. Takes off obviously from the original. Rats,
that movie has absolutely nothing to
crazy
do.
landlords. That
movie has absolutely nothing to do with the original.
No.
Only the title. I mean, he made it. Tobe knew the original film from the 70s with Cameron Mitchell, but really he wanted to make his own movie.
But with the same kind of title, because obviously with title it comes allure, and people
and that sells, of
things.
course. Toolbox Murders. You're thinking, oh wait,
Yeah, but still,
Danzig's in that movie.
It's a cool movie though. It definitely, and it's kind of cool because it does fit in our slasher aspect.
There's some good kills in that movie.
Yeah.
Really cool dude. Really cool mask as well. And
so
Sherry Moon Zombie dies, and one of my favorite actresses from May. Her name is Angela Bettis. Angela Bettis. She's one of my absolute favorite actresses, and she knocks it out of the park in that one. From 76, we have Eaten Alive, also known as Death Trap. Pretty much right off the heels of Texas Chainsaw success, man. Toby just wanted to knock another one out, and I think he did. Yeah. Neville Brand is the crazy fucking hermit.
What do you call him?
Just the hotel owner guy that has this huge Nile crocodile as a pet that feeds everyone.
Yep, feeds the body,
including Robert Englund.
Yep.
A very young Robert Englund.
Oh Christ, 70s.
Yeah, he actually has hair. Great movie, great atmosphere in this movie too, with the crocodile and the Texas setting. Like, you get country music playing, kind of like in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like when Sally goes into the cook's lair and there's country music playing and stuff. It's kind of reminiscent of that. I love Eaten Alive. I think this is a great film. Excellent. It's also certainly based on a true story of the legend of Joe Ball. Pretty cool. Check it out. If you get this edition or some edition, it probably has like
that Dark Sky one?
Shit. Yeah, this is the Dark Sky one. Really good release.
We talked about that one already. Dark Sky puts out good shit.
Absolutely.
All right, we're moving on. John Carpenter presents Body Bags.
Yeah.
But it is also directed by Tobe Hooper.
Absolutely.
I have not seen this, but I'm sure he can enlighten you on this one. I've not seen this one.
Yeah, man, it's a great horror anthology.
But,
I mean, it's got pretty much everything you want in a good horror anthology. John Carpenter himself is in it. Wes Craven does a cameo in it. Mark Hamill is at the end. I think it's called the Eye story, where he loses his fucking eyesight. He uses his eyesight, and then he gets the eye of a serial killer, and he starts seeing visions of what the serial killer did. It's really cool, man.
I have to check that out.
Check it out. And he fucking uses scissors and stuff to get his eye out, and it's just great.
There's
a great there's a great story called Hair, where what the hell's the guy's name? I'm sorry, I gotta find it. Stacy Keach is just obsessed with hair. And he's losing his hair, and it's driving him nuts. So he goes to this hair transplant place that like gives him hair, and it's just this really weird procedure that just backfires, and it just gets nasty, and he's just obsessed with his hair and stuff. It's so cool,
nice.
Man. It's just a great... The first story, Wes Craven's actually in it. He stars in it.
He directed The Eye.
Yeah, that's the one we were talking about with Mark Hamill. Yeah, it's a great ornithology. One of my favorites.
1993. There you go.
It was on VHS for years, and finally, what is it, Scream Factory again? Yeah, I think it is.
Yep.
They released it
in a combo pack, so it's DVD, Blu-ray.
Because man, it's a really good movie, and I'm glad more people can see it now.
Oh yeah, well, why don't you go?
Oh shit.
Drink all you want, but you gotta talk about it.
That was for Tobe. Oh, I get pieces. Oh, I get 2 chainsaws. Lucky me. TCM2. Oh man.
Yeah.
You're probably sick to death.
Bubba's got a boyfriend.
Girlfriend, not boyfriend.
Girlfriend. Yeah, whatever.
Drayton Sawyer, number one. You got a choice, boy. Sex or the saw. Sex is good, but the saw is family.
Lick my plate, you dog dick.
Oh yeah, this is a classic, man. TCM2. Tobe was murdered during this fucker by the people that were behind it. Canon, I guess. Yeah, they totally ripped the shit out of this movie. They took out of all Savini's great gore effects and everything, and it was really a horrible release. But this is the real deal.
Of course, you get a big Dennis Hopper to be in it.
Absolutely.
Play the sheriff.
Dennis Hopper, yeah, definitely.
And it was so cool when he actually got his own saw and he's going down and just...
A big saw, too, man. He's going nuts.
Hell yeah. But the opening scene, I always remember, was cool with the car chase scene when you got the family... And then you got the kids in the Camaro and leather faces, just yeah. Like that was just a cool scene. Like how that was shot was so badass. Like
if anyone
on the bridge and stuff.
If anyone watched our episode 20, I believe, our last one, we did a favorite sequels, and this was definitely one of mine.
Yep.
Rightfully so.
Yep.
Bill Mosey's great.
Alright, we're doing Dance of the Dead. Robert Englund off the Masters of Horror series.
Yep.
This was actually a pretty cool one. The Masters of Horror, series always, I don't think any steered me wrong.
No, they never disappointed me one bit.
And this was no different.
Based on a story by Richard Matheson, the man himself.
Where it's kind of like the wasteland of like the future and stuff, kind of the wartime.
Very depressing movie.
Yeah.
A lot of drug use. A lot of drug
Jonathan Tucker, who was in the remake for Texas Chainsaw Massacre, is in this one. Like I said, Robert Englund.
He's got a great performance in that as the DJ at the club.
And definitely Dance of the Dead. Check that out. What year was that? 2007?
I think it was 2006.
2005. 6. He's right. 6.
Is this our last one here?
No, you have shit over there. They're numbnuts.
Oh God, what am I doing? I don't
know. You see, we forget time to time.
79, we have the great TV movie Salem's Lot, based on the Stephen King novel, which is a great novel as well. But yeah, me and Ghoul religiously love this movie.
That's
Reggie Nadler plays Mr. Barlow, and he's actually a real life burn victim. He's also in Mark of the Devil. Great movie. I'm the witchfinder in this town. Is that clear? That guy.
See, and the thing is, when he had to return to Salem's Lot, it had nothing to do with Mr. Barlow at all.
No, that was a good film regardless.
It was, but that was totally
this
different.
One, no, okay, he gives me shit about saying atmosphere. But this movie,
It has
you would agree,
atmosphere,
has
yes.
atmosphere.
Hell
The
yes.
fog
The
and
house
Danny
and
click
just-
at the window. Oh my god, it was so creepy. I put a lot of color in my shorts.
Like, even the whole thing when you see him, like, when they go down in the catacombs where Mr. Barlow stays and they're opening the door, and you see that thing just, like, there, it's like, holy shit. Like, the little crawl space, you can see that kind of claustrophobic feeling. It's
This one was so much fun. Hell of a long movie, but it's worth it, man.
It's like Jaws.
Yeah,
Hell of a long movie, but fun.
that's a great movie.
Alright, we're going to go on to, it's a terrible movie, but it's Tobe Hooper's last movie, Jinn.
I never seen it.
Yeah, it's not that good. I mean, it's not horrible. I mean, the story, of the Jinn, the shape-shifting demons and stuff. So it's kind of a cool demon film, but it's not, Tobe Hooper he did make really good movies, and it's like every director, there's always those ones that kind of fall off the cliff, and this is one of them. I didn't really enjoy
Even
it
Wes
that
Craven
much.
and Carpenter made horrible movies.
So it's kind of like, Jinn, it was his last movie, so, obviously we threw it on that.
Respect.
On
He also
those,
did
but,
another one called Mortuary, which I did not like at all. But it's Tobe Hooper,
this is an homage to him, so we're giving good and bad.
Yeah.
Opinions, of course.
Oh yeah, one of my favorites. The Funhouse from, what is this, 81?
Yep.
Great movie.
That's a cool movie.
I love this movie. You just kind of want to go to a carnival after you watch this movie.
That big fat woman that's sitting on the thing like,
Yeah. This movie has so much great moments, and plus it was for Universal, so they got the rights to use the Frankenstein monster makeup.
Yep. They
For
use
the-
that
for the
mask or
actual
whatever.
killer, deranged guy
Yep.
that can't get off.
Yeah, he tries and tries and tries, but yeah.
Yeah, this is a good one, man. This is a really good one.
Yeah.
Really,
17? Shut that stupid mask.
yeah, like I said, the Universal monsters are all over this. Like, they're watching The Bride of Frankenstein in the beginning. That was cool homage. And then the killer gets the mask. And
You see when they see the first murder, the people standing up in the floorboards, and they see like
yeah, he like drops
see
a
the
pen
murder-
or something.
yeah, they see
And
the
then that
murder
one
happening.
asshole steals the money from the whore. That's what sets him off, because they're trying to find him. Also, last thing I'll say is any fans of the show Oz, Kevin Conway is in this, and he was the father in Oz of Dean Withers' character.
Alright, we got the last one over there, which is the most important one, in my opinion. It was just,
We'll do this one together.
yep. Poltergeist. Now this obviously
Not Poltergeist. It's like
Poltergeist.
it's later the chicken dead, but no. This one.
No, this is one that was a lot of controversy on who actually directed this movie.
Yes.
It
was Tobe Hooper.
Yeah, that's what the general consensus.
Stephen King was a fan of Tobe Hooper and wanted to work with him.
Yep, he worked with him, but did not direct it like a lot of people were thought.
It even says directed by Tobe Hooper, presented by Steven Spielberg, but Steven Spielberg always gets the credit for this movie, and rightfully so. Did I say Steven?
He said Stephen King.
Steven Spielberg. Steven Spielberg.
Oh boy, well there's a note.
This is that Maximum Overdrive, asshole.
Yeah, Spielberg. Sorry.
Spielberg gets all the credit for this, man, but really it was Tobe.
Yep.
It was a good collaboration, though. Like we said, I mean, they both did it, but Tobe should have gotten more credit.
Yep, definitely.
Definitely would say Life Force as well is a great film. My dumbass forgot it at home. I do own the film. I love it. It's a good
Life
sci-fi
Force,
movie
yes.
with Steve Railsback of Helter Skelter fame and Ed Gein.
Mm-hmm.
Great movie. He also did Spontaneous Combustion, which I've never seen. That was out of print for the longest time, but I believe they released it again. We're gonna miss Tobe very much.
Yeah, I mean, you put out a lot of great movies.
Absolutely.
Hopefully we don't have to do one of these on the next episode or even for a while.
I don't know, man. It's getting crazy.
I guess, we got a lot coming up for you guys. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll come back. We'll talk about some of the stuff that we're going to be coming up with. So,
but before that, we're going to have one more cheers.
One more cheers to Tobe Hooper.
Tobe Hooper. Cheers,
Texas
guys.
Chainsaw. Poltergeist. Salem's Lot.
The Saws family.
We love you. Hey guys, welcome back. We are going to wrap this episode up. Thanks for sticking with us. We always know our Halloween episodes are a little bit longer than most, but it's well worth it. We have, we figured we wanted to do slashers and stuff, and that's a big category. It's like zombies. It's just where the hell do you go from there? Obviously still want to mention, like Scream, Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, all them, the franchise movies, which Skids didn't want to bring up, which makes perfect sense, but at the same time, we still
gotta love them, man. You
still gotta say they made sense to, maybe the time they were coming out.
Throw Candyman on there as well.
Candyman, there's so many in this list that, you can't really go through them all. So we did our best, and that's what we can do.
Graduation Day as well. That
No Kills Revenge.
That one almost made the list.
But, like I said, coming up, we got, obviously, Christmas around the corner. We hate the holiday, but we still always have, we'll have something fun for that. I'm trying to think here. We got our 25th episode, anniversary episode coming up in about, a couple months or so. So definitely stay tuned for that. It's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. But until then, I am Ghoul.
And I'm Skid Gore. And we'll see you next time, guys. Thank you for sticking with us. Slash us forever. Happy Halloween. R.I.P. Tobe Hooper.
George Romero.
The list goes on, guys.
Yeah.
We love you. Thank you all for
Cheers.
watching. Happy Halloween on Descent into Horror.